And let me tell you what, this is a treat, because not very many people get to see this, and this is the first time this view is going to be on video online for anyone and everyone to see. So the mission today is not really any ranch work at all, but is to just simply go on a hike. The reason I'm not really showing you ranch work right now is just because it was more of the same that we've been doing. Next week, though, we're going to be doing a cattle working. That's on Saturday, so that video won't be released. Well, when you're watching this, probably not released for another week or so. Definitely going to be a fun thing to watch. I'll have some cowboys in it and some good old Texas ranch working. But yeah, this video gonna be a little bit on the shorter side, but I thought I would get at least something out and something that you guys could watch. Now I'm just gonna walk out here to the point, and we're gonna go fly the drone and check out the canyon. And as we walk along here, maybe you can see the dogs. And these three are my dogs. The white one is Oscar. The bigger black one is Bud Dog, and the smaller black one is Stella. And they're all three of them are rescue dogs, and I like to think that they get to live quite the life here. So I think they really enjoy being ranch dogs, getting to run around all the time. We may actually take a moment here and do a little double header on this hike, and we'll go check out the point, which is one of the cooler views that we have, and we'll also go up to these Cliche Pits and check those out as well. So you know what, let's go check out the Cliche Pits first, and then we can go check out the point. So where I'm walking right now, this is what we call the horse pasture, and cattle really do not ever graze here unless they broke loose, and this is where our horses graze. And if I don't see them this hike, I'll just roll a little bit of some B-stock footage of the horses that had some footage from before that you can see here, and if I run into them, I'll show them to you. But what we're walking on is actually a road, believe it or not, and we can drive the Ranger on this road. And when we need to find the horses and pin them, this is the road that we can take. And we could choose to go left or right here. We're going to go right and head up towards the Cliche Pits, which are part of the horse pasture. So my sister-in-law thought it would be a good opportunity as I walk along here to tell you a little bit of how I ended up on the ranch. And so I'm walking up these Cliche Pits, figured I'd tell you. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and moving to a Texas ranch, that's quite a move, you may think. But really, I moved from Pennsylvania to Colorado, and I moved to Colorado in 2016, and I started working for Steamboat Springs, which, if you've never heard of that, is a ski resort there in northwest Colorado. And that was kind of always my dream and ambition growing up, was to live in Colorado and work for Ski Mountain. I'm a big skier, and that's one thing that I really enjoy doing. And that's where I met my wife, Helen. You know, started dating, and then eventually the pandemic hit, and we decided to come to the ranch and spend the pandemic here. So that was my first time here, and I actually moved back to Colorado for a period of time, and from 2020 into 2021. And then after that, we kind of decided, hey, we had enough of the ski resort life. It's a kind of a tough lifestyle. You don't really get to make any money there. And the ranch is just beautiful, an amazing place to live. So we moved here and eventually got married. And that's kind of how I ended up going from Pennsylvania to Texas. So as you can see, this is kind of almost like a gravel pit, and there's all sorts of white rocks in here. Hopefully you can see that just fine. And anyways, this stuff is actually great for building, and there's caliche quarries around these parts. But just for those who don't know, here's a quick little Wikipedia of caliche. Caliche is a soil accumulation of soluble calcium carbonate at depth, where it precipitates and binds other materials such as gravel, sand, clay, and silt. It occurs worldwide. Right here, if I'm remembering correctly, you can actually find things like seashells things in here, which is crazy to think. So you know, I might not sound like the smartest person right now, because I don't know 100% of the accuracy of this, but I believe that this must have been underwater at some point. Obviously, if there are seashells in here, that must be a true statement. Okay, so here you can see the Cliche Pits from a bird's eye view. And this is the main bulk of it here. You can see how white it is. That's all that sediment. There I'm standing. All right, now we're headed down, walking over towards the point. These puppy dogs there decided to keep on moving. They don't like sitting still for too long. They're like, hey, we're on a walk. Why are you just standing there and flying your drone for? We don't have time for that. They're being rather impatient with me, but that's okay. I love these critters here. They're truly part of my family, and I love them a whole lot. But this is a road, actually. We're walking on right here, if I can not slip and fall. And you can see it's really worn down from the rains that we've had. And I don't know if that's the course of just 1 year or many years. Sam could tell you that. But it's in need of a little bit of some love, this road right here. One thing that is kind of interesting observation for me, at least, is where I grew up in Pennsylvania. I did a lot of hiking, especially in the Appalachian Trail. In Pennsylvania, it's very, very vegetative. There's lots of trees, forests, a lot of undergrowth as well in those forests. So you really aren't quite able to just walk wherever you want. But I kind of like that here on the edge of this canyon, you can kind of maneuver around pretty easily. Now, there's other things and other factors that you got to account for, such as there's pigs out here and all sorts of critters and you know, scorpions and rattlesnakes, and you kind of have to be on your guard for them. But all that set aside, is really fun just to be able to kind of point yourself in a direction and go. And I really am a big fan of hiking out here, and I should do it more. Here we are on the rock bed, and I don't know really all of what there is to say about this, except it's a pretty interesting geological feature. Nothing can really grow on it or cling to it. You can kind of see that right over here there's a strip of it that stuff has clung to and grown to, and it's worn down, I guess, from years of erosion and wind. Anyways, we're coming up here on the point, and let me tell you what, this is a treat. Not very many people get to see this, and this is the first time this view is going to be on video online for anyone and everyone to see. I'm really excited to share it with you guys because this is something very special for our ranch to have, and it's very special for us to live on the side of Palo Duro Canyon. And we'll get some drone footage here, and that's very special because you're not really allowed to fly drones in the canyon, but we have special permission because we have land. We have permission from the park, and also because we have land, we're allowed to take off and land on our land. And here's our view. Pretty fun flying a drone on these parts, and Oscar's going to start getting super close to the edge of the canyon here just to make me extra nervous, because he does that every time we're out here. And I call him away and he just will go right back out to the edge. He just likes to give his dog dad a heart attack every time we're out here. Hey Stella, don't help. Well, she jumped right over those cactuses. She seems to understand that you don't want to get into those. The dogs learn pretty fast about what to do out here and what not to do. The canyon is a system of different kind of points of drainage where it's cut out. So here you can see there's another wall right over there. This is a part of the canyon that gets real tight right here. And down there, actually this, it might be 100 feet tall. Or between 100 and 200 feet tall from the top to the bottom. And this runs all the way up there and actually comes up ground level with the ranch. I think if you actually walk up this, it's definitely less than a mile, maybe half a mile. I mean, it's real fast to the top. It gets this deep, and then it comes down here. And if we go out to this way, you see this rock is splitting off right here. There's a big crack. But if we come up to this way, that same drainage comes all the way out and goes out into the main canyon. And this right here, the point, the view we see off the point, it's actually really kind of this big, I mean, I don't know if they call them drainages. Some geologists can correct me in the comments if you're watching, but I'm going to call it drainage. It's like a big drainage, a big cutout. Actually leads out into the main canyon, which is out there, out at that wall, way out there. And that runs kind of north to south here, and is, I think it's 10 miles wide and at some points, and I think it's, heck, 100 miles long or something like that. I'll have to look it up. It might only be like 40 miles long, but this is America's second biggest canyon right here. This is it. Besides the Grand Canyon, this is the biggest hole in America. So it's really something special. And to have the ranch out here and to be able to check out these views day in and day out. As I'm walking up here, I'll tell you that, you know, this used to be kind of a area where Indians used to live. They used to live down in that canyon. There's some pretty brutal, pretty crazy stories when they were out here kind of discovering this area, discovering this land. There's Indians out here, and the U.S. Army did some pretty tragic stuff and some pretty not cool things. And that whole dispute was called the Red River Wars. And if you're curious about that, check it out. All right, well, I just climbed down that ravine here, and I'm standing on top of this little mound, and canyon's behind me, and I really enjoyed that hike, and I think it was a lot of fun. So I think we might do more hikes around the canyon. I want to see how this video turns out, but thanks for going on the hike with me. I really enjoyed your YouTube company, and make sure that you check out next week when we do the cattle working. That's going to be really cool. Hit the subscribe button. I know we're pretty small right now, but I love to see 1,000 subscribers on this channel. That would be really cool. And the best part about subscribing is you get to go on adventures like this all the time. I'm going to try to do videos about once a week, and there's going to be points where it might be every other week, or we might miss a week or two. I'm gonna actually going to Ireland in April, so I'm gonna miss 2 weeks there. But yeah, subscribe. Why not? I'll see you next week.